Expose them, Lord, not with thunder, but with truth so loud it echoes in their own silence. You ever wonder what happens when people dig graves for others but forget they're standing in sinking sand? Well, buckle up, because God didn't just uncover their secret agendas toward you. He served them a divine meal, cold, calculated, and karmic, with a side of poetic justice. Here's a sobering fact. Studies in human psychology show that most betrayals aren't random, they're strategic, often plotted by those closest to us. And when you're a chosen one, you're not just targeted for who you are. You're hunted for what you carry. They thought you were blind. God let them believe that. They thought you were powerless. God let them flex. They thought they were winning. God let them dig deeper, not knowing they were burying themselves beneath the weight of their own deception. And now the masks have melted. The group chats are in shambles, and the whispers turned into screams, because judgment came dressed in silence, and it hit like a divine plot twist. See, God didn't need to lift a finger. He let them expose themselves. And the best part, some of them are still sitting there, wondering how the very thing they planned against you blew up in their own faces like a bad hair day at a fireworks show. So don't move, don't blink, don't even sip your tea too loudly, because what's about to unfold is deeper than karma, louder than vengeance, and slicker than any setup they thought would work. God exposed it all, and trust me, they didn't see the subpoena from heaven coming. Let's dive in. Number one, God let them plot just enough to build their own trap. They thought they had you cornered, thought their plan was airtight. They whispered behind closed doors, practiced fake smiles in the mirror, and acted out roles like life was their personal theater. But what they didn't know was that God saw everything, and He was letting them build the perfect setup, not for your downfall, but for theirs. God let them plot just long enough for the trap to become theirs. He didn't stop them right away, because He was watching something deeper unfold. He was allowing them to reveal the full extent of their darkness. Every lie they told, every manipulation they weaved, every time they tried to pull strings behind your back, it was all being used against them, not because God was slow to respond, but because He was letting the evidence pile up. You didn't need to defend yourself. You didn't have to expose them. They exposed themselves. The more they schemed, the more they slipped. The more they tried to trip you, the more they tangled themselves. Their egos convinced them that they were 10 steps ahead, but they didn't realize God was the board they were playing on, and the game already rigged against them. It's funny how people think they're clever when they move in secrecy. They think as long as no one's watching, they'll get away with it. But they forgot one thing: you're covered by a God who sees in the dark. And when He's quiet, it's never weakness, it's strategy. Now they're confused. Things are falling apart. They can't explain why everything's backfiring, but deep down they feel it. That sting of exposure, that divine justice unfolding slowly like a slow-motion replay of every move they made. And you didn't have to lift a finger. You were protected in silence while their own hands wrote their destruction. That's not karma, that's God, serving them with precision, grace, and a smirk only heaven understands. Number two, their access wasn't a blessing, it was surveillance. They thought being close to you was a privilege, but in reality, their access was a setup. God didn't let them in because they were loyal. He let them in so their true motives could be observed, tracked, and eventually exposed. They thought they were in control, moving pieces in silence, smiling in your face while plotting behind your back. But all the while, God was collecting receipts. Their closeness wasn't about connection, it was surveillance, spiritual surveillance. They were allowed into your space so they could be monitored through you. Every time they tested your boundaries, God was taking note. Every shady comment, every passive-aggressive jab, every manipulative move, they were all part of a divine investigation. And now, the report is complete, and judgment is being handed down. They assumed they were using you. What they didn't realize was that God was using them. He gave them just enough rope to show who they really were, and now the mask is off. Not because you confronted them, but because God uncovered what they tried to bury deep. They'll say you changed. They'll say you're acting different. But the truth is, they were never for you in the first place. They were simply allowed in to reveal themselves. And the longer they stayed around you, the more obvious their true nature became. God let you witness it all, not to break you, but to build your discernment. You weren't losing people, you were losing liabilities. Now they're uncomfortable, awkward, some are quiet, some are suddenly absent. They don't know how to face you because deep down, they know you see through them now. What they once thought was manipulation has become a mirror, reflecting their own intentions right back at them. The truth is out. They were never hidden from God. He just let them believe they were, until it was time to serve the consequences.